Welcome to Hip Hop Now Podcast. If you're from the future, you know what to do. Get your ass out of here. Don't disrespect the legend. Hip Hop is here to stay. Let's get right into the business.
What up, y'all? I am your host, Vegas, and this is Hip Hop Now Podcast, a podcast designed specifically for you to get caught up on all things hip hop, music, and culture that happen throughout the week. Big shout out to the producers of this podcast over at patreon.com/hiphopnow. And there you can help support this podcast. Maybe get my internet signal right. I don't know. We're going to do it up, but we're going to continue to develop the video version of this podcast. Salute to everybody who has been listening to this podcast via audio for years. Big shout out to hiphopdx.com, allhiphop.com, XXLmagazine.com, and all the other places where I'm getting these stories from. Let's get right into the business. So, Bow Wow sort of ranted on social media like rappers do, but he had a very great point about hip hop, the hip hop game, he is a hip hop, needing a board of directors, right? Now, I know there's some people out there who just do not know what that means, or doesn't know, well, what would a board of directors do? And I'm just going to look at it this way, right? He's essentially saying that rappers, and especially old school rappers, as other rappers get old, maybe he's talking about himself as well, who knows? But nevertheless, you give your life to this game, to this music business. It's the biggest culture, most influential culture in the world today, top streaming genre out of anyone you could throw at it, country, pop, whatever. Hip hop is number one streaming wise, but yet the pioneers of the game are having to do GoFundMe's to get heart surgery and things like that. Black Rob needing some serious help when he was bad, right? Just all kinds of things we can come up with. Now, don't get me wrong. Some might say, why is there not an R&B board of directors or country music board of directors? Just because hip hop is more popular, that doesn't mean that singers don't need health benefits. And obviously, we know this all goes to the whole music industry and how it's shady and what it does and chews out and spits out and whatever, chews up, whatever you want to say. It's artists, but it's not exclusive to hip hop. But Bow Wow, who is, whether you like it or not, he's a part of hip hop. He was a part of hip hop from the beginning. Let's just stop it right there. But he got a point, and some people agree with him. Let's go to hiphopdx.com where they have Chuck D and KRS-One respond to Bow Wow's hip hop needs a board comments. All right. Here's some of the things that Bow Wow said. Hip hop needs a board. Okay, we covered that, Bow Wow. No different than the NBA with the Players Association, a committee that can set rules and keep things in control and protect this thing we call hip hop, and have a retirement plan for the OG rappers. I hate seeing my heroes liquored out, no money, just washed. Damn, who he met? MC Shan? Goddamn. No disrespect to MC Shan, I'm just saying. He's right to a point, but he's right. Again, there are other genres of music that are no different from hip hop when it comes to being jerked by the industry. So there needs to be a recording artist committee. But if we're just talking hip hop, all right, taking care of those from hip hop, the Players Association, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure if the NBA Players Association does the same for NBA players. Because if you ever looked at a Knicks game, and if you ever saw some of the Knicks legends, not all of them, but some that I'm talking about, they look washed too. You know, that Deacon suit can't make every game in the same style without getting washed. I'm not the other wash, you know what I mean? But he does have a point, because I remember when Curtis Blow, I believe he needed to have heart surgery or something, but he had a serious procedure that had to happen to save his life, and it was getting crucial, and support was needed. And you know, thankfully, he was able to get the procedure, and he was fine. But unfortunately, it wasn't the same for somebody like a Black Rob, right? And Bow Wow's not even talking about that. He's just talking about the fact that these guys shouldn't look this bad. You know, they're legends. They started this thing. When you think about the amount of money that some artists make off a single today, right? Fresh out the hood, just one song. Don't even have an album yet. One song on YouTube, go crazy, millions. One of their chains, the pendant on their chain, could have paid for Curtis Blow's hospital bills. That's how crazy the game is now. Curtis Blow was bigger than that. He was bigger than a YouTube video. I'm sorry to say. Now, obviously, you're saying millions, blah, blah, blah. But this is the thing. This is how, when they talk about, you know, this movie grossed this much back in the 70s. And it seems like a little now when you have movies like Avatar 2 that gross, you know, $2 million. Well, what's the difference? Well, the difference is inflation, right? Because if you take the original Star Wars, what they made back then was equivalent to the 2 billion you hear about Avatar 2, if not more, right? If you increase it for inflation, you know, you take it to the future, you know what to do. So it's the same thing with Curtis Blow's stardom. He didn't have the benefit of upload your music, shoot a video in the hood with an iPhone, and have millions of people have access to it. And all it takes is for it to go viral, someone to share it, and people constantly share it, constantly talk about it. It's like a network. He didn't have that benefit. He was a big rap star, like number one at some point. Number one. Somebody like Glorilla, she's not number one. She's hot right now, but people would hesitate to call her number one over Cardi B or whoever else. So essentially, that's what we mean when we say that, right? So somebody like Curtis Blow today would have the money to do whatever, right? We see these, you know, these young ladies and guys go crazy. Music go crazy, one single, video shot in the hood on the iPhone, teeth jacked up, you know what I'm saying? Eyes right here. Well, come on, y'all. They get it all fixed before the album drop. That stuff isn't cheap. It's not cheap to just get your teeth fixed. It's not. Unless you're going to get the joints you just put over the top while the teeth continue to rot under it. I'm going too far this show. But whatever, you get what I'm saying. So Chuck D, KRS-One, Curtis Blow, and Dougie Fresh teamed up to establish the Hip Hop Alliance in July of 2022 to address and represent the needs of the culture. Now they received a joint statement now they've released a joint statement addressing Bow Wow's comments. And basically, I'm not going to read this whole thing because you should go over to hiphopdx.com, read it your damn self. But like every other aspect of society's workforce, the artists and creators of hip hop need protection, support, and advocacy. From label disputes to intellectual property retrieval and the need for an overall governing body, the Hip Hop Alliance was established. Bow Wow, we already got one. 50 years of hip hop. We already got one. Now, we don't know how powerful they are, but this is the thing. This is the thing. Chuck D, KRS-One, and Curtis Blow. Right? Some power there. Definitely hip-hop history there. But what has to happen? What has to happen to truly make this powerful? Well, another B. On the other B, that's a double B. Hove, where you at? You know, cryptocurrency Scarface. Okay, Nas, where you at? Not just them, you know. Those you got pocket change too. 50, you doing all the power. Okay, put some of that power over here. Hip Hop Alliance. You know what I'm saying? Oh, T.I., I'm still snitch over here. You know, I'm just joking. But you know what I'm saying? People in the game, and not just the hip hop artists, right? Those who have benefited from it, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm calling out hip hop artists, but it just don't have to be them, right? It could be anybody with money that supports this culture, who's made money off this culture, who's loved this culture, who feels themselves, yo, we need to support the future of hip hop. We need to control it. And I think this initiative, if it's backed by some real money and some real support, because it's not just money, but definitely support, whether that's some legislation or whatever the case may be, or legal support, you know, because you know the record industry, it's a start. And it's a start that could better help hip hop fans and those who grew up in it, those who contributed to it, begin to control the narrative around it. Because that's what's most important. Because not to belabor this whole topic, but it is important, 50 years of hip hop, we got to understand that a lot of this stuff with the record deals and these bad 360 deals, and not even just a 360 deal, bad record deals from back in the days. They would sign you for 20 albums, want to have you forever. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it comes from cats being poor or uneducated, seeing this as their first and only shot out of the hood. So they accept a lot of bad deals, and not just with record labels, with managers, with lawyers, with accountants. They just accept bad deals because all they want to do is get out of their current situation, and they're taken advantage of. That's where the protection needs to be, because guess what? They're taken advantage of. They have this record contract. They have to deliver this music, and they also have to deliver a specific type of music. And that's where we need to get more control, because what's the hip hop alliance worth if the radio still has to dominate with that sound? And I'm not saying it because I don't like trap or drill or whatever, or anybody new or auto-tune or nothing, because I do like some of it. But it dominates the hip hop space as being, this is the only thing that matters. And you know, like I know, if you listen to this podcast, there's so much music out there on the hip hop side that's so different from one another. There's no reason why we can't enjoy it all and hear it all on the radio. It's a long shot, but I'm just glad that there are those that are willing to bring it to light. Bow Wow's kind of shining a light on something that was announced in July that honestly most of us forgot about. But we need the big support to come around to making it a real thing. And I think there's a lot of powerful, I know they were all rappers, but there's a lot of powerful people in the game, executives from Puff or Love or whatever you want to call yourself, you, Steve Stout, like all of y'all need to step up and back this in any way you can. You know, if you in government and you trying to rap to be cool so they can vote for you, well, guess what? So we know what it is. Rappers are mad at Funk Master Flex because he gave no reaction when they freestyled. Let's go to the tape, okay? So JID, or if I'm acting like an old head, I know y'all don't call him Jid, so let's not, blames Funkmaster Flex for him retiring from freestyles. He said he was mad. Let's get some quotes from him, right? So if you don't know, he had signed to Dreamville, and in 2017 he visited Hot 97, Funkmaster Flex, to do the freestyle thing that we all watch and think it only came about with Black Thought, but it did not. It was dope, but relax. He said that essentially it was his childhood dream to be up there. Funkmaster Flex dropped some bombs. I'm going to freestyle. Remember all the joints I saw? And what he said, he was kerfuffled. No, he was kerfuffled. Why would he use that word? Whatever. I was giving him something and he ain't even get it. We might go back one day. I'm not even going to take too much time on this, y'all. Let me tell y'all something. Two things. Funkmaster Flex must still, he don't have to lower his price. Let me put it that way. They still care about what Flex do and say and think. High 97 was not even number one in New York no more. But here we have this, and we had the Conway situation. We ain't forget. We know that was last year, but we ain't forget. Cats care about what Flex think and what he do and what he say over their records or their freestyles. They need his energy. Sometimes they pay for his energy, but I mean, whatever. So that's one. Two, as an MC, you just rock. I don't care what kind of, this is my lifetime dream to be up here with Flex and kick my raps. Why are you even paying attention to that dude? You know what real spitters do? Flex ain't even in the room to us. Okay? If you're listening to this, you need to watch the video because I'm getting upset. Okay? Flex not even in the room. Let me go up there. He's not even in the room no more. I don't care what he say outside of his mouth. Because I came there to smoke. That's it. I don't know if I need to say pause with that. You young kids, you know what y'all think every time somebody say something regular. But you know what I'm saying? Like, why would you care? Now, maybe Flex thought your bars were trash. I don't know. Maybe Flex was just bored and it wasn't you. Maybe he's just tired of doing this. Who knows? But again, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care if you're from NY. In his case, he's from Atlanta. I don't care if you're from somewhere else. You're happy to be up here on Flex Freestyle. You done watch Black Thought do it a million times. Now you think you him. Come correct with your bars. Who cares what Flex thinks? It's really more so about what the viewers think, what the listeners think about your bars leaving that joint. If Flex don't even move, you know what they're going to do. The comment section going to light him up. You ain't got to worry about him. You don't got to retire from freestyling. Now, if you want to retire from freestyling because, I make albums now, I don't battle and freestyle. Hey, I get it. I'm with you on that. But whether Flex is hyped or doesn't understand your bars or whatever, that's on him. He's on camera. That's on him. You got to go in that booth and burn it down. You got to go to that show, burn it down. Whatever it may be, That's all I got, homie. That's all I got for you. And lastly, remembering Mac Miller. So Mac Miller would have celebrated his 31st birthday. He unfortunately passed away at the age of 26 from an accidental overdose in September of 2018, I believe. And it's been a while, 2018, when you think about it, I mean, we had 2023, we had the pandemic. So much has happened since then. A lot of rappers show love for him. A lot of rappers miss him. right? And we're not just talking about, just the younger rappers. There's a lot of rappers that really rock with him, older heads too. But if you've been listening to this podcast, you kind of know how I feel about Mac Miller. I was never a Mac Miller hater. I never disliked him. I don't know him. But I did appreciate the fact that a lot of rappers from, again, different walks of the industry really rock with that dude, including Sean P. To me, that said that Mac Miller was a really cool dude if you met him. Like, you meet him and you just instantly like him. You have to be one of those cats. Or you like something about him as a hip hop head, whether it's his hip hop knowledge or fandom or whatever. But I used to feel with him, with Logic, and you can't really compare those two because I give Mac Miller more props than I give Logic any day, to be honest. And they were self-aware. They know this, just like Eminem knows it. But Eminem is different because Eminem is truly nice on a skill level that you really can't ignore. Like, you can get past the subject matter, but when you're just looking at the wordplay, you just can't ignore how nice he is. Mac Miller was not even close to being that nice. He wasn't even that close to being great with the music for as far as universally. Now, for that generation, well, hell yeah, right? Because there was one thing about the old heads versus the young cats that I always sided with the young cats. You know why? Because I'm not going to, for example, I'm not going to say, my favorite R&B group is the Temptations. I didn't grow up in that time. My favorite R&B group is Jodeci, okay? Because that was my time when I was a youth, and they were it. That's how it is with Mac Miller. So he came up in a time where, he was very influential with that age bracket, with that type of music, and it worked for him. And it's not terrible. It just, to me, at the time where I was just kind of like, it didn't warrant the attention. And that was my point. The attention was really heavy because, unfortunately, we live in America. He's white. Same thing with Eminem. Eminem is stupid nice, but so is Pharoah Monch and Black Thought. Black Thought had to do a freestyle 20 years later from starting his damn career for y'all to even realize he was nice. He been nice. You need that freestyle. But that was always my issue. No fault of Mac Miller's, right? Because he can't help it that he's white. He can't help it that, there's a portion of this society that will only listen to his rap music because he's white or Eminem's white, or they think, or they don't know that Logic is mixed. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, remembering Mac Miller on his birthday, I will say that there is a lot that I did like about him. I felt like he was less of, let me hear them bars, even though he had his, and more of he was really relatable. And I think that's why a lot of rappers from different generations mess with him. He was relatable. He was a really cool dude, and he put that into his music. And I think that's what connected him to so many people. And for me, a little bit later, I grew, before he passed away, I grew to appreciate what he did bring to the game for the very reason I stated. It's not his fault that we live in a country where if you're a white rapper, you have a better chance of being a bigger artist than if you're a black rapper doing the same thing, or a person of color rapping doing the same thing. You don't have to be a rapper to know that. It's called white privilege. It happens all the time. You could be, well, let me not get too ridiculous with the McDonald's puns and stuff. McDonald's, mama making him, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Like, so I think Mac Miller, for what he was able to accomplish in his time in the game, how he was able to affect the generation, which is extremely important. Extremely important. And he didn't just rap. He made beats. So let's not sleep on that. It's extremely important to acknowledge that he helped to push a generation forward. And believe you me, there are those right now who I hear a little Mac Miller in. And I may think like, well, why is he really lifting for what Mac Miller used to do when he's a better MC than him? Well, that's Impact. And that was Mac Miller. That's going to do it for me. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Vegas World INC, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Hip Hop Now. You can type in Hip Hop Now podcast and hit that subscribe, like, share, comment on some of these stories. Let me know what you think about them. What's your perspective? You heard my perspective. What's your perspective? Hip Hop Alliance, you down with that? You ready to pay your tithes so we can take care of these dudes that are washed according to Bow Wow? But Bow Wow's washed? You know what I mean. You can take care of him too. Leave your comments in the comment section below. This podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. But more importantly, when you hit that like and that subscribe and you make a comment, you share this content with people you know would enjoy it. Until next time, y'all, I am not a critic. I'm a fan. Peace.